talk about Constantine the TV show. So, if you've been watching this show, which I hope you have, you've been watching and noticing that we've talked a lot about the Constantine show. This has been an awesome show that we talked about because the Hellblazer comics, its source material, is it's a cool realm of the comic book series. There's not many out there. This kind of started its own like occult version of the comics. I mean, they even made a Justice League just for like the occult guys. It's called Justice League Dark, I believe, in the New 52. And so Constantine, when we heard that he was getting his own show, I was like, yeah, awesome. Hopefully it'll just make the Keanu Reeves movie go away. So let's give you my review. So it was a pilot episode. And Brendan, what did you think about it?
It was terrible. I hated it. Everything about it.
Let me ask announcer Brian if you watched it. I don't think so.
Watch it. What do I ever watch? If I watch it, how are you going to tell me about it? Like you're telling the people about it. Come on now.
True. Announcer Brian just doesn't know why you don't watch anything. But no.
Kids care. I don't know.
I don't. Well, I did text him like 15 times. I was like, watch the show. It's about to start. It's about to start. Watch it.
No, to be honest, I didn't even see those messages until after. Like, I didn't.
That's
my phone
very
was dead or
convenient.
something like that.
But no, it's all right because I can tell you about the show. So now it was the pilot episode, and if you don't know what a pilot episode is, it's kind of something they throw together to say this is our idea for a show. If you give us more money, we can make something even better. And so that's really what it was. Now, so it was rough. It was raw. It wasn't really what you're going to start seeing in the weeks to come. I look back to the first episode of Gotham. That was I enjoyed that pilot episode, but again, it was rough. They're developing ideas. They're showing you what the show's going to be about without really kind of pinpointing. So, regular show I imagine will get better. The opening scene though was pretty darn awesome. I don't know if I've ever seen a show where the lead character decides to check himself into a mental hospital so that he can forget something. So the opening scene is really him getting strapped into electroshock therapy and shocking the heck out of himself. So, pretty cool. And I don't know if Constantine ever does that in the comics, but
they may. Who knows? There's so much in all those comics that who could keep track? That guy? You?
Oh, I will keep track. Fine.
Not you, the guy. The guy out there.
Yeah, that guy.
You do it?
Yeah, he'll do it. That person.
All right.
But yeah, so and I thought that was pretty cool. And they're really trying to showcase, kind of his, kind of a twisted sense of humor. And they do let that in. But the humor for Constantine is kind of hit or miss in the first episode. I can see a couple times I was like, ha, 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 that's really funny, I'm laughing, not in like a sarcastic way. And then a couple times I was just like, that's stupid, why would you say something like that? Like, that's not funny at all. So, again, it's a pilot episode, so they're kind of going to weave their way into the groove, okay, this is the real Constantine. So that was pretty, that was his or miss. Now, they did try to introduce a ton of ideas. I think almost too many during the show. Now, Constantine in the Hellblazer comics, if you don't know how that was run, it was one of the only comics I've ever heard of during its 30-year run that literally they aged him every episode. So, every comic. So every comic, if it was a monthly comic, he was a month older. Everything was in chronological order. By the end of the Hellblazer comics, I think he started out being 30. After the 30 years, he was like 60-something. So, that's pretty interesting. And it's going to be hard to cram all that in, but you have a TV show. Hopefully it'll last a couple seasons. You can wait. Now, a couple of the ideas, they talk about a friend of his, Jasper, who's kind of like, the main plot of the first story is he has to help Jasper's daughter, who a demon is coming to get her. And Jasper's dead, and you can see that he was kind of like, hey, man, I want you to be a cult fighter. I want you to fight these bad demons and stuff. And he's kind of like, I just want to kind of be a con man. But you kind of see him going in that direction. They show they tell you what event happened that led him into checking himself into the hospital, and that will be one of the big catalysts for the show, which I'll just tell you what it was. He was trying to get rid of a demon, so he called up a bigger demon to drag the other demon into hell, thinking he could control the bigger demon, which I'm going to guess is going to be one of the Lords of Hell, because in this DC universe they have multiple, like, Satans, pretty much. And it ends up carrying
one of them. Satan's like one of them. There's Lucifer, and there's just other lords of hell.
Yeah, yeah. So there's gonna be multiple lords.
Even though they talk about how at one point like Lucifer did rule all of hell, but things happen.
Yeah,
apparently.
Well, you're in hell, so hell happens, But and so this bigger demon drags this girl to hell, and so this is going to kind of set Constantine on his way for revenge. He wants to get back at that Lord of Hell for dragging this girl, this innocent, away, and it also shows that he is damned to hell for doing this. And actually, an angel makes an appearance a couple times saying, "You're supposed to fight on our side." And Constantine, for a while, is like, "No, you guys damn me to hell. I'm not going to deal with you." And they're like, "Well, you kind of did it, so like, why don't you just redeem yourself?" And they're like, "Okay, there's redemption." They do show a couple of his old friends. They don't really tell why they're his old friends. He kind of just alludes to, a couple of them have different powers and stuff like that. Don't really say that much. And then they also, the main female character of this episode, who actually was played by Maid Marian, if you've watched the old, not old, but
Robin Hood.
BBC
Robin Hood.
She was in it. I don't know if they were planning on making her more of a main character, because I could see that they were going to bring her on in the series, and then at the end they're just like, "Nah, we're going to cut her out." So it could have happened that way. But she has this way of scrying, which is looking at magical things by like blood drops from her hand onto an amulet, onto a map, and it tells you where something really evil is going to happen. And so at the end of the episode, they unveil this huge map of America with all these little blood droplets of evil places going to happen. So a lot was introduced, and it is a TV show, so they have 25 episodes or 24 episodes to try to solve a lot of it just this season, and then carry on to next and next and next. So I do think it'll turn out pretty well. I do got to say that the actor who played Constantine was spectacular. I mean, when Hugh Jackman first appeared as Wolverine, you're just like, wow, that's Wolverine. Mm-hmm. Didn't get that sense as strongly with this Constantine character, but it was just the look and the feel of him was just, it was like he was ripped straight from the comics. So I think they did awesome with that choice. So that'll be fun to see as it goes through. And then, just an overall synopsis of the first episode. It was a little rough around the edges, but did it paint a good picture of what's to come? Yes. Am I happy that I watched it? Yes. If you haven't watched it, check it out. I believe you can probably find it on demand on most cable networks, or just go to NBC.com and watch it, because it definitely was worth watching. And I think this is going to be a show that I follow throughout the show.
Good. You better.
I give it a 4 Chewbacca chainsaws out of 5. Okay, 3.5.
Are we doing that?
No, we're not really doing that. But I just decided to throw that in there right there, because I gave 0 Chewbacca chainsaws to our last thing that I reviewed.
You have to make something up.
I have to give something away somehow. I always give away Chewbacca chainsaws for our entertainment show, and so I had to give away somewhere in there. But yeah, so.
I mean, I can give it to them.
No, yeah, you don't.
3.5. That don't sound like this isn't even that great.
3.5 out of 5. That's, like I said, it's raw, but it shows you, that it was going well. It's going to go well. And I originally gave it 4, but it's really 3.5. So you give him what, 10?
Yeah.
So Brendan, as a person who hasn't watched the show, are you going to watch it now?
We'll find out.
Okay, so that's a no. He won't watch anything in the world. But yeah, so let us know what you thought. If you watched the pilot episode, did you like it as much as I did? Did you like it more or less? Hit us up. Comments down below. Of course, at Where's My Face on Twitter. Where's My Face at gmail.com. Google Plus and Facebook. Always good ways to get a hold of us. And